Sim racers, welcome to the eRacing Association, where you have the chance to win $5,000 in one of the best tournaments in all of sim racing. Green flag in the air.
Are you ready to reach the next level of sim racing? The eRacing Association's epic Omega Cup Series lets you win big.
Is he gonna throw the block?
Racing with ERA lets you compete for huge cash prizes, get exclusive merch, exclusive sim hardware pricing, and potentially turn your virtual dreams into reality. Feel the rush as you race door to door against sim racers just like yourself, all from the comfort of your own home.
Straight away, they're an idiot. Oh, they're wrecking! They're wrecking!
Join now to get your membership and experience all of the excitement that the eRacing Association has to offer at www.eragaming.gg.
Celebration, he hangs on.
Son, this is a Navy base, not a playground.
Sir, have a look.
So you think you got what it takes to fly with the Navy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll give you one shot. Bring him in.
Hey, can I get another cocktail?
Gentlemen, you are here because NASCAR wants you to have a street race on this base.
Hey, this is pretty sick, huh?
Oh, you think this is sick? If you want to race here, you got to show honor, courage, and commitment. You boys think you know speed? You haven't felt real speed. They're gonna flip you. They're gonna twist you. And just when you think you've reached your limit, they're gonna punch a hole in the sky and drag you with them.
Hey, Clark, you gonna do some of that pilot shit? Can't be any worse than you're driving. Sick bird, Peaches.
Speaking of sick,
The Bernard Carpenter's not gonna like that. Hey, boys, I feel the need. I feel the need. Seriously, guys. Need for speed. Speed. Does this thing go any faster? Oh, shit. Hell yeah, boys.
Not bad up there, gentlemen. But let's see how you handle this next mission. This is NASCAR Street Course, and that is the Navy Security Force. You make it to the finish line without getting caught, you have my respect.
look at this turn right
We need
here.
to split up.
Let's just steal one of these f***ing helicopters over here.
Dude, we're so done.
We're screwed.
You have to go this way.
Thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah. Why did we not bring SDG?
Guys, I got an idea.
Lights on. You think we can outrun them?
It ain't the car, it's the driver.
Man, this course is sick. Boys, we're almost to the finish line.
We lost him. Got him.
Gentlemen, we set the standard, and you matched it. And I am pleased to say that you belong here with us on this sacred ground.
Let's get to work on bringing NASCAR to the Navy.
This is what this sport's all about right here. Big moments like this.
That was a dangerous shot.
The gate opens, all bets are off, and you better react. Like this is a picture-perfect ride.
This is what makes the difference.
Well, there you have it. This crowd just got to witness greatness.
And he can hear you right now.
Let's go. Oh my God.
I'm just in awe at how good the guys are riding. We are being treated to the best bull riding you want to watch right here.
Hey guys, I'm Indy Next champion Dennis Hauger, and you're watching Drafting the Circuits.
Marty, a moment ago, Denny Hamlin left the car and went over to the pit box and fell into the arms of his crew. Denny, what's going on inside?
Yeah, nothing I can do different. I mean, prepared as good as I could coming into the weekend, and my team gave me a fantastic car. Just didn't work out. You know, I was just praying that no caution, and you know, had one there, and what can you do? It's just not meant to be.
You ran away from everybody, the car had speed, and then the caution came out. What went through your head?
Yeah, I thought still okay, but you know, we took 4 tires, and I thought that, you know, definitely the right call, and just so many cars took 2 there, and obviously put us back. But team did a fantastic job. They prepared a championship car. It just didn't happen.
Can you do this again?
I'll try. I got a couple more shots at it, but you know, man, if you can't win that one, I don't know which one you can win.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports. If you enjoyed what you just watched, well, it's time to bring the action and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel. You can have it all: news, highlights, interviews, and analysis. So go for it.
Driver, start your
Good evening, race fans. Welcome to Drafting the Circus, brought to you by Sinister One Productions. I've got the whole crew in tonight. Happily, we've all just been chatting here, catching up. Richard Uden is here. Levi is here. Jessica Chezrony is here. Say hi to the people, everybody.
Hello,
Hi, people. Hi, people. Yeah, so. All right. First off, tip of the hat to our sponsors, the ERA Racing Association, Jesse Iwuji and Emmit Smith, Fox, NASCAR on Fox, San Diego, June 2026, Sinister One Productions, covering PBR in both Manchester and Boston, and Million Podcasts. Thanks to those folks, too, for number one, covering our genre, and number two, recognizing us. So let's get into this week. NASCAR was today talking how they're likely going to eliminate the winner take all one race playoff format, which comes just a couple of days too late for 9 people that went in with hopes of a championship. So, but championship weekend, all 3 series, 4 guys in each series, 3 champions come out of there. And, one of them, I got to say, we'll just start with Xfinity there, right? Connor Zilisch, who 10 race wins this year, comes up short to Jesse Love, and that's the end of the day. I mean, so So
that is not just like the headline for why the playoff format needs to die. I don't know what is. Like, that is insane.
Exactly. If you look at the other two, Corey Heim had a 12-win season in trucks. He definitely deserved to be the champion. Kyle Larson, if you break down the old point system, would have won a championship based on consistency. But Connor Zillich, I don't want to say he was robbed because everybody played by the rules they were given, but it certainly doesn't feel like his tremendous accomplishments this year are notable. And he's off the Cup next year, so he'll be all right. But that'll be a missing pin in his resume. Xfinity Championship right there in his hands. So.
And he's most deserving of it, in my opinion. I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
Love winning the thing. It'd be like SVG winning the Cup. Nothing against SVG, but I mean, it just something needs to be done.
Yeah, it just doesn't smell right. But
nope.
But they're planning on doing. They're going to do what they don't know what they're going to do. They said they want to reward winning. Which obviously any championship should reward winning. But again, I'm a guy that thinks the championship format should reward consistency as well, equally to winning. So because even if you look at the early days of Formula One, where they only 6 guys got points, and if you were to win 3 races and DNF in 5, you'd probably be the champion. That's how much that one was slanted towards winning. So, but let's get into the racing, Richard. Do
we have to?
Well, I mean, the truck race was good for Toyota, right?
Yeah, no, the truck race was good. As you said, Corey's broken every record in the books this year, and he was fantastic. And watching the race on Friday night, you just thought it was a formality in many ways. And then, another races he's dominated. But then we got caught out by another one of these late race cautions. And he pulled, a masterstroke of a strategy between himself and his crew chief. Everybody else that stopped took the 2-tire option. He took 4. And went from 7th to the lead in the space of a corner. Basically, they went 7 wide, I think it was at one point, in the dog leg on the front stretch there. And he drove a masterful race and got his just rewards there for a fantastic season. The kid's he's a great guy. He's been around a little bit. He's not he's 23 now. He's not one of these 18-year-old, sensations or whatever you want to call it, that always seems to get the headlines. He's, really put the hard graft into it. And, if there's one guy that's always doing work with his engineers, always on the simulator, always working with the teams to try and find an edge, it's Jesse. And Corey. And it's fantastic to see him get that championship in such a dominant fashion. Does Corey
have plans lined up for 2026 yet?
So my understanding, my understanding is that he will be part-time in a 4th 2311 car. He did 2 or 3 races this year with 2311, and I think
in the Cup Series.
In the Cup Series, I think the plan is that he will be doing around about half the calendar, maybe a third. But I don't think he knows for certain yet. It's all very much dependent on sponsors and that sort of stuff. But he's got enough personal sponsors and also with the the input from Toyota and our sponsors that he's a very, very sellable guy. I expect to see him in at least 10 races next year, and then you'd imagine leading into 2027, it would he'd go full time in a car. He has a contract with 2311 and LMC as a test driver and sim driver. So, potentially you could end up in one of those seats.
All right. So Lee, Jessica, either y'all watch the truck race? You can say no. It's fine.
Did not.
I did not catch the truck race.
All right. How about the Xfinity race? Any comments there?
Just the fact that I think Connor Zilic got robbed.
Yeah.
Nothing against Love. He's a great driver. Junior Motorsports had their day in the sun, but Connor Zilic definitely deserves that. To catch.
Yeah,
catch that
and
one
again,
there.
you can't take it out on Jesse Love. It's the system.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
It's the system. It's how the Giants beat the Patriots in Super Bowl 42.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
I mean, they needed a kick in the pants, I guess, to get that conversation started. And if this is it, then great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the fans have not really rallied around it. But I mean, history tells you NASCAR doesn't always, they're not always really in touch with what their fans are saying. Their NASCAR sometimes is confused on who their fan base is. While they try to reach out and find new members of their fan base. I don't know. It's like, it seems like they trip over their own shoes half the time trying to create a larger fan base or a newer fan base while alienating the ones that have been supporting them.
Yeah.
Richard, Xfinity race thoughts?
I mean, for the race itself, I think that obviously, the RCR group and Jesse Love turned up with a quick car, and I didn't see much of it, but oh, excuse me, it wasn't a fluke result. They had a quick car that day and they played the game. In the same way that you could argue Penske have done in the last 3 Cup Series seasons. So, you cannot. Fundamentally, you can't criticize, the driver and the team and the crew chief and the engineers that work on that 2 car. They did what they're entitled to do. You just have to, again, take a step back and look at it from a, is this the way that as a series and as a sport, we want to determine the champion, the best driver of the year? And I'm sorry, no disrespect to Jesse and that car. He was not the best driver of the year.
But he was the best driver of the weekend.
Well, exactly, but that's not what the championship is about, And I, that's what, that's the battles that obviously NASCAR have to try and overcome. And I think this year, more so than ever, you've had, at least in the Truck and Xfinity series, you've had 2 very dominant drivers, and only one of them was only one of them has won the championship. And in the Cup race, you had a race which, again, probably didn't produce a driver that deserve. It's a horrible word to use, but his drive on the day didn't warrant the result. So it's a very difficult situation. And, I think, Frank, we're of the same opinion. The championship driver is the driver who is the best driver over the year. And
not the best driver for the last 10 laps of the race.
Or the last 2 laps, or whatever it may be.
Including the caution laps. That's what I'm saying.
And, it's... And I'm not trying to sound, it's only in... I've only ever really seen it fundamentally in the US, where they have this concept of, the playoff concept and trying to eke out every little, and I'm sure it's a TV thing, and I'm sure it's the financial.
Oh, sure, yeah, but I mean, it's everywhere in U.S. sports. There's the World Series, the NBA Finals, the Super Bowl. But the difference is, in those systems, in those sports, the teams that are eliminated go home. In NASCAR, the people that are eliminated still need to come back and race the next week.
For sure.
And then they can really affect the outcome. Whereas, sitting at home watching on TV, you're not going to affect anything. So,
yep. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a different sport. It's not head to head. It's not one on one. It's not like, it's not like NFL or any other sport really. This is the only sport that I can think of that is fundamentally, every 36 weeks, it's every man for themselves against 36 other drivers.
Every team is there every week. Yeah.
Yeah. And people say, oh, it's to do with TV viewing figures. Well, I'm sorry. The viewing figures and the spectators in the early 2000s, when they had a normal championship format, were way higher than we have now.
Right. And they said the viewing figures for this past weekend were significantly down to last year.
Yeah. It's all of these excuses that they keep banding around for creating this flawed system, I think are pretty much, exhausted by now. They need to step down. We need to take a step back. We need to realize what we have as a sport, and we need to embrace that. And it's also a lot to do with how it's marketed. And I was talking with this about somebody earlier in the week. We look back at, in the Formula One world, we look back at Michael Schumacher's dominance in the early 2000s. We look at Lewis Hamilton's dominance in the 2010s, and we look at Max Verstappen's dominance in the early 2020s. At the time, people said, "Oh, it's boring. Same guys winning every week." And there were, for sure, there were some weekends when it was like that. But you also have to realize, and I don't think the media does a particularly good job at this in any motorsport, what we are privileged to be watching. We are privileged to be watching generational talents at the top of their sport and at the top of their game. When Jimmy Johnson was winning championships, it's not his fault. It's not Hendrick Motorsports' fault for them to be the first team that really actually sat down and created an organization, a setup that was professional. It's not their fault for doing that. So why change something because somebody's good at it? Motorsport doesn't have the leveling effect that, say, a lot of the other sports do in the US with the draft system and salary caps and all that sort of stuff to try and create this level playing field. We don't have that. So
and the other big difference
when
is,
somebody's good.
Yeah, the other big difference is that, well, Max wins every race, Well, if you follow football, right, there may be 12 games on. So you got 12 different teams win a race there. So even if the same team keeps winning over and over again, there are 11 other teams also winning on the same week.
Yeah.
But the race is the one
so
event, and
much.
if it's the same guy every week, well, yeah, that can get boring,
It annoys me, though, that the media and the press seem to try to vilify somebody for being good.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are damn good at what they do. So embrace it. Embrace success. Embrace, people that are good. Don't turn around and say, oh, we need to boo somebody because they're good. It's a reflection, I think, on society as well, without going too deep into this.
Yeah.
But, you look at the reaction and some of the content, and I know social media hasn't helped, but it really is disgusting, some of the stuff we've been seeing coming out. And these guys are just athletes. They're not brain surgeons. They're not curing cancer. They're not solving world peace. They're not doing anything like that. These guys are just athletes. And yeah, some of them are a little bit outspoken on some of the social media platforms, but geez, we're better than that. And it's annoying.
Yeah. So let's break down the cup breaks a little bit. So the winner of the Cup race was
it was shit. There we go. I broke it down.
So the winner of the Cup race was Ryan Blaney, showing again how Penske is always prepared for Phoenix, knowing that championship round is unfortunately their guys were eliminated before Phoenix, but Blaney was still right there. But Denny Hamlin led the bulk of that race. I mean, I wasn't watching it live. I caught it later, but I'd get updates on the phone and see who's leading. And every time I checked, it was Denny Hamlin. And then with just a precious few laps to go, caution comes out that Denny didn't need. Denny takes the decision to get 4 tires, whereas everybody else got 2. So whereas that worked out well for Corey Heim in the truck race, it had the opposite effect for Denny in the Cup race. There just weren't enough laps left for him to kind of get. I think Denny might have ended up 6th or even 7th. Very dejected afterwards because it really, all day long, it felt like, it's finally going to be Denny's year. So, but instead we get Kyle Larson with a hard R, by the way. If anybody gets that reference.
I do.
I
Yeah.
a reaction from Keith there. Larson, who actually had a pretty consistent season, and again, like I say, somebody figured out he would have won under the old system. I didn't bother to check the math on it.
I think Bell would have. Well, it depends what system you go, because I heard that Bell would have won it.
Yeah, because there were a couple of different systems over the years. So
whatever.
But,
yeah.
But either way, Kyle Larson as champion isn't as far out there as Jesse Love in Xfinity won. So
no.
But I just again, I'm not a Denny fan, but I'm so gutted for the guy.
Yeah. I mean, you can again taking this from a very selfish perspective, I guess. I've been working in this in motorsports all over the Europe and North America for nearly 20 years, and I've won races I didn't deserve to win, and I've lost races I did. But this one, by far and away, was the hardest to accept and process for multiple reasons. I mean, obviously, with any sport, the nature of what we do, of what the sport is there's uncontrollable variables. And what you do as a team and as an organization is you try and minimize those. And some weeks you'll come away from a race and you don't win. And you take a step back and you go, right, what could I have done better? What could we as a team, as an organization, as a manufacturer, as an engine supplier, as a team, whatever, what could we have done better? What could we have done to ensure that we won that race? And coming away from Phoenix on Sunday night, the answer was nothing. The whole team, the whole 11 team, the whole JGR organization gave Denny a phenomenal race car. And to my mind, in my years of watching NASCAR, that was probably Denny's best drive.
Yeah.
I think he dominated the race. Yeah, the first stage, he struggled on tires towards the end and let William Barron pass. But, they reacted, the team reacted, Denny reacted. Second stage dominated, third stage dominated. Yeah, there's a few cautions come out there and he maybe dropped a couple of positions, but, he picked them back up quickly. And, holding that 3-4 second lead, comfortably with no real challenge. And, it stings. It really does, because, as I say, you look at it, you think, around what could we have done better? Now, you could question the call on taking 4 tires.
That's the interesting one. Like if you were on that pop-up pit box, would you have called for 4?
It's difficult.
I don't know that I would have, But then again, I'm
there's
not.
two ways of looking at it. There's a pro and a con to it. The pro is obviously you saw. Excuse me. The pro is you saw what Corey did on Friday night.
Right.
Took 4, dominated that final restart. Now, saying that, the trucks are a lot more tire dependent. They don't generate as much horsepower, so they are more tire dependent. So, excuse me, the tire delta is going to be more significant. And the way pit road was laid out, Denny had pit stall, or the final pit stall on pit road. So Kyle Larson had actually left his pit box on 2 tires before Denny even got to his. So there was an opportunity to make that call. But they made the decision and stuck to it. But, could you... Somebody made an analogy. It's like being, 3 scores up in the Super Bowl coming to the 2-minute warning. And they say, right, actually, we're going to scrap this now. Each team can take a field goal and whoever scores wins. But because you were 3 scores up, you're going to have your field goal from the 70-yard line, and the next guy's going to have his field goal from the 20-yard line. Let's see who wins. It's crap. NASCAR has got so convoluted in trying to create something with the stage racing and with the playoffs and with this green-white checker. Do we just not say, right, let's just go back to fucking racing, And if it's crap, it's crap. Let it be. Don't try and create something that's not. Don't try and create a soap opera out of something that's real, because what's going to start happening is if we keep going down this road, and it may already happen, we just don't know it, or NASCAR won't admit it. If you're a sponsor, say you were, I think it was Progressive who were the sponsor for Denny Hamlin on Sunday. So, you're a big insurance company, high-profile brand. And for a marquee race such as the championship race, especially with Denny being, in the championship 4, you could be looking at $1 million to sponsor that race, probably. I don't know. I'm just throwing a number out the top of my head.
Yeah, I think your number's a little low, but
I don't know. It's probably maybe a few years ago it'd been low. I don't know about now. But you're saying, right, you're Progressive. We've put X amount, $1 million into this car. And you know what? It's been great. For 312 laps out of 316, we've been front and center on the TV. We're getting great coverage. Really good. We don't get anything now post-championship because we didn't win. Nobody's going to have that die-cast car on the collection. Nobody's going to have that on the front of ESPN's, headline. So where's the incentive for us as a brand to come back next year, put the same amount of money in, and the same thing happen? You want, as a brand and as a organization, you want a return on your investment. And when you start getting this convoluted manipulation of a result, is that really the best way for you to spend your money? Again, there's obviously sport, there's always variables, but you invest in sport, you invest in sponsorship to get a return on your investment. And you want that return to be as guaranteed and as limited risk as possible. In all fairness, NASCAR sponsorship is a big risk right now with the way the sport's run.
Yeah.
You go to the Daytona 500, you put sponsorship on a Daytona 500 car. With the way these plate races work, you can be wrecked after 3 laps and, never be seen again. Or you don't even qualify for an open car. Everybody says how badly the sport's doing from a financial perspective and how difficult it is to attract sponsors. And then they're creating a format for the sport to drive sponsors away and to drive manufacturers away. I'll say if if the results had played out a different way and there hadn't been that caution and Hamlin had won the championship, nobody from Hendrick would be complaining it was unfair they didn't win. Because they were beat. They were beaten fair and square.
Oh, yeah, all day long. Yeah, all day long.
You know, Larson didn't win a race in the playoffs. I don't know how many laps he led in the playoffs. You can probably count them on one hand almost. You know, I don't think he was in the top 4 all week in Phoenix, and then the guy walks away with the championship trophy. It's just not the right way of doing it.
All right, so let's get a different perspective. So, Jessica, you picked Kyle Larson to win the championship.
I did.
So, despite at the expense of hurting Richard's feelings, let's talk about Kyle Larson a little bit. I know you've followed his career. You've followed him as his attempts at the Indy 500. So, yeah, let's talk about Kyle Larson because he, at the end of the day, he's still a generational talent.
He is, and that's that's why I keep picking him when I don't I don't know who else to pick in NASCAR because like I feel like he is generational talent, but also just like such a pure racing talent and so talented in so many disciplines. And also like the busiest guy out there, right? Like he's dude's racing at dirt tracks on Saturday nights. Like he just doesn't stop, and he loves racing cars, and he's really damn good at it. But I mean, all that said, I 100% agree with Richard. I think it's a sham. Even down to like the stage breaks and like the green white checker, like it just, the whole thing just feels like it's manufactured. It's a gimmick. It's manufactured. Like it's not real, just pure racing, and I find that very disappointing.
And the ironic thing is these cars are as pure a race car as you're going to find in any form of the sport, compared to an Indycar, compared to a Formula 1 car, even compared to Formula E or something like that. These things are as rudimentally as you're going to get. They don't need to be manipulated.
Yeah, but I think you're right. It sort of speaks to, I mean, I don't want to say just in particular the NASCAR fan base, but it sort of speaks to like the average American's attention span, right? Like it almost, good TV almost requires gimmicks.
The Coke 600, who needs a 4.5 hour race?
Nobody.
Now, when the Coke 600 started 50 something years ago, the concept was to prove how reliable your car was. Great. How many cars have mechanical failure at the Coke 600 now? 1 or 2 at most, and that's nothing to do with the manufacturers. That'll be a alternator belt fails or something, or
it was an endurance race, plain and simple. The early Indy 500 was also an endurance race.
We've got the 24 hours of Daytona. We've got Le Mans 24. If you want to do it, it's phenomenal. So, if you want to get people watching the sport, change something up. Do Friday night races. I think the San Diego thing, great. Take the races into downtown areas. I thought the Chicago race was fantastic to get it to a new audience.
But
I think NASCAR fell into the traps of the old guard fans who were you can't it was great to watching because the thing I love about street races is the normal fan can relate to them. You just I've driven down that street, I know you see that or whatever. You can't do that at Las Vegas Speedway because nobody knows what it looks like. Nobody can relate to it. Whereas when you go to a street course or somewhere like Chicago, people can relate to it, and I think that's so good. I think the potential is huge if they keep doing that. But unfortunately, they lost that one, and we're doing the San Diego one now.
And the other great thing about the street races is, even if you're not a race fan, there's generally so much to do on those weekends that, I mean, it's just like you're just at a big old street party. There's food vendors and live music. If you go to an oval race, you're going to spend a lot of time just sitting in the sun or walking around looking at the same old souvenirs again and again while you're waiting for something to happen on the track. So, all right. So Lee, you've been quiet over there. So what were your thoughts coming out of Phoenix? Because we'll need to kind of wrap our NASCAR segment soon and start talking about the NHRA.
I'll make it quick with the NASCAR thing. In my opinion, NASCAR is trying to make a reality TV show into a reality TV show. Like, racing is racing. It's dramatic. It's twists and turns at every stage of the race, but yet they want to try to inject extra into it. Let it play out. Go back to the old ways. You know, I was extremely disappointed that Denny did not win. Being out there 3.5, 4 seconds and then losing it, it just sour taste in my mouth. But I'm not in charge of NASCAR. My name is not Levi France, and I can't fix it. All I can do is report about it on the greatest racing podcast that I know. So there's my 2 cents.
Well, and you can see Lee on the greatest rodeo podcast ever when the dust settles on Thursday nights. So anyway, another quick bit of NASCAR news. Connor Zilisch is actually off to test Cadillac IMSA car.
He's not though, is he?
I read he was, then I read he wasn't, then I read he was again. So
okay, because I know at one point the FIA wouldn't give him enough points, which is stupid. But the kid, whatever. But okay, if he is good, because he deserves it.
Yeah, and the 2311 lawsuit looks like the trial is going to go forward. The judge blocked an injunction from NASCAR. I didn't understand all the legal verbiage in there, but there was something in there about how NASCAR is representing themselves as the premier stock car racing series, which is, true. Which means they're not allowed to pull any examples from like Formula One or IndyCar racing. Yeah. Which is what they were trying to do. Compare themselves to what other things are doing. So, but it looks like the currently the trial is going to go forward unless these guys reach a settlement.
So the judge, I think it was yesterday or today, has actually made a pretty big announcement that severely hinders NASCAR's ability to win the trial, I think.
Yeah.
Basically, the concept now is the judge has actually brought into question the legality of the charter system itself, because there's no competition, and basically what you're not allowed to do from a legal perspective is control the value of a product when there is no competition, which is basically what NASCAR have been doing for the last 10 years. And
Monopoly.
It could be, if this sort of plays out with the way of the verbiage of what the judge was saying in the last couple of days, this could be a massive impact on the sport moving forward. I mean, it could basically render all the charters null and void. And not just from a competitive standpoint, but also from a financial standpoint, in that this capital that these teams have been sat on for the last 10 years, when you look at a chart of selling for $15 to $20 million, for a judge to suddenly turn around and say, yeah, they're not worth anything, that's a huge impact on the sport moving forward.
Absolutely. All right, we'll have to see how all that plays out. In the meantime, the NHRA was out there in the desert for the Nevada Nationals.
Correct.
I hear that our good friend Brittany Force had a good day.
She did. She went really, really fast, and she won. So, yeah. So we're down to after this past weekend, we are one away from the championship in Pomona. That is in 2 weeks. But wrapping up Vegas, like you said, Brittany Force, she went really, really fast to another really, really fast race car in Sean Langdon. I'm not going
to detail.
No, listen, I'm not. I don't want to. Like, I'm going to try to get away from the numbers a little bit because I mean, like, they're fast. Like, so Brittany went really fast and Sean Langdon went really fast too. Brittany just went faster than Sean did, so she won.
Went really, really fast.
Yeah, she went
really fast.
Yes, yeah. So we had a really, really fast and a real fast. But it was twice now. So Brittany's won back-to-back Fall Vegas wins, Fall Vegas races. So that's cool. And actually on Friday night, she set a new track speed record. Not a new speed record overall, but just a new track record. So that was nice. Championship-wise for Top Fuel, Doug Coletta still leads the points. He's 144 over Sean Langdon in third place. Doug pretty much just has to show up at Pomona and make one qualified pass in qualifying, and he'll pretty much wrap the championship up. Sean Langdon mathematically he still can do it, but it would have to be, every, conceivable thing out of place for Doug. So, funny car, fan favorite and show guest, Mr. Matt Hagan. He went fast to Austin Prock, who went really slow.
Me up when he went fast.
So yeah, Matt went really fast and Austin went actually really slow. Like Sean.
So when you mean slow, like only like 270 miles an hour?
No,
right?
like Austin Prock only went like 100 miles an hour.
Oh, that's
slow. So, yeah, Hagan went really, really fast, like 300 miles an hour, and Austin just went slow-ish. But Prock does lead the points by 101 over Hagan, so Matt still does have a mathematical chance to win that going into Pomona. Pro Stock, Dallas Green beat Matt Hartford. They both kind of went the same speed, and they were both pretty fast. It's just Green went a little bit faster than Hartford. So, and actually that race, it turned out to be who got to the finish line first, and that was Dallas Green. Hartford actually went a little bit faster in his car, but lost the race. So, yeah. So, and Dallas Green leads the points. Dallas Green leads the points by 92 over Greg Anderson. Again, still mathematically in the chase going into Pomona. So we'll see how that plays out. And our Pro Stock motorcycle would not be complete without a
Gage Herrera finally won.
He finally won one in the championship. He beats Angie Smith. Gage went really fast on his motorcycle, and Angie went sort of fast. It was the seventh victory of the season for Gage. Wait till I come back for championship week. It's going to be it's going to be a good one. So, Gage, seventh win of the season. So that was really cool, really cool. And in the semis, we saw Gage Herrera take on his teammate in Richard Gadsden. And that was actually probably one of the best races of the weekend because, Richard Gadsden in the semifinals ran a perfect light, which means it was his light. We timed the light, it usually takes like 0.0 something to go from when the light is green to when they move. Gadsden pulled a perfect light. So he was 0.00 and Gage Herrera was a 0.005.
Wow.
So it's 5/1000ths of a second difference where Gadsden was absolutely perfect. Obviously, yeah. I mean, they call it a perfect light. And it's a timing thing. You have to know exactly like, okay, at this part of the yellow light, I can smash the gas and not red light. So, but Gage did lose that race to or no, Gage did win that race against Gadsden, even though Gadsden pulled a perfect light. And Gadsden has a 21-point lead going into Pomona, so that race technically is still very much in play.
Yeah, that's a close one, yeah.
Yeah, very close. And it's 2 teammates in the top 1 and 2, so that should be really a good race going in. And like I said, Pomona getting ready to wrap it up in 2 weeks. NHRA, along with In-N-Out and a couple of other sponsors, have announced quite a few perks for veterans because it's happening the weekend after Veterans Day. So if you're a veteran, active duty military in the Southern California area, there's a lot of good promotions that In-N-Out is doing, as well as some of the other prime sponsors for the NHRA to celebrate Veterans Day in the the 60th season that they have there in Pomona. So if our fans are from the Southern California, Nevada area, head on over to Pomona, in 2 weeks and get a couple free hamburgers.
Yeah. All right. So, Richard, Formula One is headed to Brazil this weekend, and we've got a championship battle that has suddenly tightened up. Norris and Piastri, 1 point separating them. Max Verstappen breathing down their necks. How do you think we're gonna play out in Brazil?
Oh no!
We're going back. Are we going back to Star Wars again?
Back. Yeah.
What? Is it because I'm here again? Is Star Wars night because Levi's in the house?
Frank, the week that you missed with us, Richard sounded about like that for probably 80% of the hour.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it was super fun.
So he yeah.
All right, check your audio settings, Richard. Let's see if we can get through this.
You better.
Yeah.
No, hey, there's Richard.
There we go. There we go. Thank you. So, Brazil, who knows? I mean, it's such a lottery, isn't it? I mean, we've got to this stage now again where we just don't know who's going to win. You wouldn't have thought that Max would have been, pretty poor at, Mexico City in the grand scheme of things. And, Lando dominated the race. Are we going to see the same thing? Who knows? I wouldn't want to put any money on it. That's for sure.
Want to put any money on it? Yeah, it's like forever. It seemed like Piastri was just going to nail this championship, and now it's wide open with only 4 races.
Yeah, I mean,
left.
You had Piastri, then Verstappen's going to win it, and now Norris is like, well, hold my beer, here I come.
Yeah,
everybody forgot about him. Maybe he did Lando a good thing. For 3 or 4 races there, nobody was talking about him. Oh well, he's just gonna, disappear. And no, he sort of knuckled down a little bit and got a couple of good solid results while Verstappen was driving so well, and then did the business in Mexico, which was really impressive. So yeah, who knows? I mean, I think, personally, for what it's worth, I think that Brazil is a circuit that certainly suits Verstappen's driving style, and will probably suit the car quite well. So maybe, I genuinely, I don't know. I really don't know. It's so good.
It'll be fun to watch. Brazil's one of the older classic tracks.
Yeah, I don't know what the weather forecast is like for this weekend down there. Actually, that's normally a good. A good, a difference maker. Let's have a look. We can find it. Sao Paulo, Brazil. What's the weather forecast? 10 days in Sao Paulo. Cloudy, no rain. Saturday, thunderstorms. Friday, showers. So if there isn't a sprint race, I don't think it's a sprint race this weekend. I can't remember, but yeah, it could be some fun on Saturday if the rain comes during the sprint race.
All right, so who do you like, Richard? Who are you picking?
Oh, Verstappen, whatever.
All right, Jess.
go with good old George Russell.
Okay. Lee?
Lando Norris.
All right, I'm going to say Oscar rises from the grave here and gets his name back in there. So, all right. So the Williams team has announced a rebranding for next year. Their new name will be the Atlassian. I think I'm saying that right. Atlassian Williams F1. But they are they're reverting back to the kind of forward-facing W that was prevalent in the days when Frank Williams was still alive. So it's the old classic logo coming back. I for one like that. I like the nostalgia of that. So for a team that's much improved from where they were just a few years ago. They've got some good major sponsorship and better buy-in now that they're rebranding the team. So we can see some good things from Alex Albon and Williams going forward. Not that we're not seeing them. Not that we're not seeing them now. So say what now?
And from Carlos Sainz.
Yep, Carlos.
Yep.
I was trying to. Yeah. Carlos
I remember
had a podium
when,
this year.
When you go in through and I'm sure it's still there, and I hate to think that it would change it. When you went into the main reception at Williams, they had that old 1970s Williams logo in a mosaic tiling on the floor. It was pretty retro and pretty cool to see that there. Hopefully it's still there, and they use that moving forward.
All right, so Jessica. So as a transition from Formula One segment to the IndyCar segment, there has been some news and developments in the case of Alex Palou versus McLaren. So if you want to fill us in on those, that'd be great.
Yeah, so closing statements have been made in the ongoing court case between McLaren and Alex Palou. It now goes to London's High Court to make a judgment, for which they have provided no timetable. So no idea how long it's going to take until we get a verdict. But I got to say, I sure do not envy whoever is on the hook for making that decision, because all of these arguments are rooted so very little in facts and so very much in just vibes. It's all just
or hypotheticals. You figure
right. It's
because
all just guessing.
Like Zach Brown is saying that not having Palou cost him X amount of sponsor dollars. Right. How can you equivocally say that?
Yeah. So I have some of those. I have some of those figures. They're claiming $20 million in damages, including $6 million in IndyCar and F1 sponsorships, because they know how those negotiations would have gone differently solely based on having Palou on their team. $1.3 million in driver salaries, which I guess is what they're paying to the other drivers that aren't Palou, because they know who those drivers would have been and how much they would have cost several years into the future. And this is the one that gets
so
me.
They're saying they're paying Nolan Siegel more than they would have paid Palou.
Right.
That makes absolutely no sense.
No. And this is the one that gets me, is $4.1 million in performance-based revenue, because they know where everyone would have finished and how much that would have paid out over the course of 3 or 4 years. It's just, I do not understand how you can bring a whole court case based on what might have happened in some alternate universe where Palou made a different decision. It's bizarre to me.
That's why God created lawyers.
Yeah, evidently. We continue waiting.
All right. So otherwise in Indy, we are in the long off season, but I think next week we'll be testing in Phoenix.
It's actually this week. It is this week. Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow and Friday. Testing at Phoenix. It is both an IndyCar and a Firestone test, looking at a range of tire and technical spec options for how they might approach Phoenix next year. IndyCar hasn't raced there since 2018. That's been a minute. There have been changes to the track and obviously to the cars. So I think it'll be good to get a couple guys out on track who know a thing or two about driving an IndyCar. It's going to be Scott Dixon and Alexander Rossi participating in that test.
Oh, that'll be a good one. So, and I was kind of looking at the ticket cost for Phoenix for that Saturday when the IndyCars are ready. You're talking upper level grandstand seats, $68.
Yeah,
I mean that is $68 won't get you in to see a '90s band that where half the original members are not in there anymore. You know what I mean? It's
the only original member left is the name. That's who's left.
It's like Foreigner, I don't know why they don't just say they're a tribute band. There's not a soul left from that band. Leonard Skinner, there's not a soul living from the original band,
But they have cousins that are in the band.
Oh, well, yeah, brothers, and Johnny Van Zandt. But I digress. This is a whole other argument for another day. What constitutes an original member? Like, so say Brian Johnson is the lead singer for AC/DC, right? Oh, but Bon Scott was the original singer.
Yeah.
Brian Johnson's been in AC/DC now longer than Bon Scott was alive. So, I mean, if you can't say Brian Johnson, you belong in AC/DC, you're not a cover band. Yeah. You're way off base. But to my point, it's a good value to go see the Cup IndyCar weekend in Phoenix.
Yeah,
and the thing that always comes up,
right? Richard, new. Well, I mean, not brand new, but like again, haven't been there since 2018, right? So, an emerging market again. Fantastic to keep those ticket prices low and get butts in the seats. That's what we need.
Yeah, and of course, since 2018, they've moved the start-finish line and done the widen out the turn. So, but the thing that we always run into during these NASCAR/IndyCar shared weekends, which we don't do a lot of, but there is a history of trucks opening up for IRL or IRL opening up for trucks, and they did do a few combined weekends at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But the thing that comes up is the fact that Goodyear rubber and Firestone rubber on the same track don't necessarily get along. So I'm kind of wondering, this test they're doing the next few days, right? It would almost be worth their while to have somebody run out there and lay down some Goodyear rubber on the track.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's enough left over from having the 3 NASCAR series there all weekend, which there probably is.
Maybe that's why they scheduled it.
That's why they schedule it this quick. So
brilliant.
So yeah, but that's that tends to always be a hot news item.
Yeah.
How the tires perform with the different rubbers mixed. So what else going on in IndyCar, Jess?
Kyle Kirkwood has signed a contract extension with Andretti Global. His existing contract was set to expire at the end of 2026, which we know, coming up here at the end of next season, there are potentially some high-profile seats that are going to be available at other teams where folks' contracts are ending. But rather than entering into free agency and dealing with all of that hullabaloo, Kyle opted to lock in his seat at Andretti Global. I mean, you got to wonder if he might have left some money on the table, right? I mean, McLaren may have come calling, Ganassi may have come calling, but to me, I think probably what influenced this decision was the key phrase there is that they might have, right? We don't know what that would have looked like. And that would have put Kyle in this year of sort of limbo a la Will Power, where, you just don't know what is happening in your future. And that can probably be distracting. So yeah,
he's got a pretty good thing going at Andretti. Wins, 1 or 2 races a year over the last couple of years. I think Dan Towers, with Michael out of the picture, is moving the team in the right direction. Not that Michael was moving the team in the wrong direction, but I think that they haven't lost a step with Towers taking over. Getting Will Power in there is definite bonus, definite plus.
Absolutely.
Kirkwood's still a rather young guy, although a proven race winner. I mean, he's going to be able to kind of bounce stuff off of Will that Will have great answers for. So
yeah, I think that'll be cool to see how those two develop as teammates. And we know that Will's deal was multi-year as well. So yeah, that probably played a role in it as well. So good for Kyle.
Yeah, Ericsson's the guy I worry about.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't done much since getting in an Andretti car 2 years ago. So
no.
But we'll see what 2026 brings for him.
Yeah. The only other thing that I have is some personnel changes that we've heard about at teams.
Yes.
McLaren lost a couple of folks. Brian Barnhart is headed to Rahal Letterman Lanigan as the senior VP of operations. It's interesting. Barnhart was previously IndyCar's race director, which I think is the position that Kyle
back in the
Novak.
IRL days, he was the most hated man in IndyCar after Tony George.
Yeah,
Tony George, then Brian Barnhart. Yep.
But he worked with Jay Fry, obviously.
Yep.
And so now Jay Fry is at RLL, and Brian Barnhart is headed that way to join his old pal there.
But we do know RLL needs some help.
They do.
They've been pretty lackluster. I did hear that Barnhart will be on calling strategy for Graham.
Yeah. And it's good to see them investing in some talent like this on more of the engineering side. They're also bringing in Kyle Sagen, who is also coming from McLaren. He has been named as RLL's pit stop manager. He was in a similar role at McLaren, which I guess was like a newly created position there, to sort of come in and, analyze their pit stops and analyze the data and help them find ways to improve on their performance. And, it has to be said, it seems that he was pretty successful there. So, yeah, good to see RLL making those investments, and we'll see if they pay off for them. Then in the opposite direction, Olivier Boisson has joined Aero McLaren as its new head of damper engineering.
And Olivier, he's been in the sport quite a while.
He has.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's coming directly from Andretti Global, where he was a race engineer for Marcus Ericsson, and prior to that, he spent 2 seasons with Romain Grosjean, who may or may not be coming back to IndyCar in 2026.
Yeah, so the hot rumor about who's coming to IndyCar is Yuki Tsunoda.
I got to tell you,
that just came out of nowhere.
This. Yeah,
that just came out of nowhere, but it's evidently quite a strong rumor.
That's wild.
Yeah, but why not? Yuki's a fun guy. He's a big Honda guy.
Yeah.
Honda doesn't have a full-time Japanese driver in the series now that Takuma's gone to Indy 500 only, so they may be happy to have Yuki in there, and Yuki may be happy to not be teamed up with Max Verstappen week after week after week, by comparison. So we'll have to see how that plays out, because that same seat, the Dale Coyne seat, I believe, is also the one that Grosjean's name seems to be attached to a lot. So
yep, sure is.
So somebody will be in that seat.
Somebody will, yeah.
The highest bidder.
Maybe a couple of somebodies.
All right. So, and Colton Herta had his first Formula 2 laps, I believe, testing with High Tech team. Yeah. So he's geared up for his new career move. Actually, they had asked him about now that Marco is retired, does that leave a seat open for Colton at the 500? He wouldn't commit to anything, but he said it's certainly something he would like to do.
I cannot imagine.
Possible. I know the Formula One has a conflict with Canada at the 500, but him being the test driver and not the reserve driver, he's not required to be there in Canada.
Yeah. I just can't imagine that he would want to take his focus away from, what he's doing with the Cadillac team. And also, participating in the Indy 500 is not just a little thing that you drop in and do of a weekend, right? Like that also takes preparation and commitment.
Yeah, exactly.
Throughout the month of May, and
practice days and qualifying. Yeah,
there's no way he could focus fully on both of those. I would be shocked if he participates in the 500, but I've been wrong before.
Well, all right. So that takes us to the end of the hour.
60% of the time, you're right. 100% of the time.
Oh gosh! All right. Any final thoughts, anybody? Before we sign off, okay. NASCAR sucks. Okay,
wow.
all right.
All right.
That's a bumper sticker right there. Anyway, let me thank you, Lee, Richard, Jessica. Appreciate it, guys. I want to thank Sinister One Productions, our fine producer, Keith Hayes. I want to thank the ERA Racing Association, NASCAR on Fox, the PBR Tour coming to New England. Levi will cover all of that on When the Dust Settles. Once the dust settles, he'll be able to cover that for you. Thank you to Facebook Live, Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. But mostly thanks to you folks that come and watch us every week. Thanks to Billy Morgan, who was on the show last week from Cusick Morgan Motorsports. If you didn't get a chance to catch last week's show, find it in the archive on either YouTube or Spotify. Give it a listen. And until next week, well, good night, everybody.
Thanks for watching Drafting the Circuits. Make sure to follow Drafting the Circuits on Facebook, Spotify, Twitter, and YouTube. Drafting the Circuits is a Sinister One production.